Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's the Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am your host today, Rachel Cruz, Ramsey personality and best-selling author, taking your calls all across America. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And I figured in this hour, I want to ask all of our callers that call in one pain point when it comes to buying food. So with inflation and everything going on, I feel like the number one question I get when I'm out or on social media is around saving money when it comes to food. So whether it's grocery shopping or out to eat. So we're going to play that little game with all the callers this hour. So first up, we have Ricky in Phoenix up first. So hey, Ricky, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. Okay, so I just kind of threw this curveball on you, Ricky. Do you have a great money-saving hack when it comes to food before we get to your question?
Gosh, well, we're really, really blessed. We are on get food stamps right now. So that's kind of what we're using to supplement.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to our food every month. And it's, I know obviously it's not like a long-term solution, but in the meantime, it's just really been able to help us. And it's been such a blessing.
Yeah, well, that's great. And especially for people, if they have a change of season or something, something to look for to kind of be that bridge in their stage of life. That's so great. Okay. That's so perfect, Ricky. Thanks so much. All right. What's your question today?
Okay, yeah. So just a little bit of background. So my husband and myself and my two children, we are living at home with my dad right now. We do pay him rent. It's very reasonable. But other than that, I feel like we don't have like a ton of huge expenses. And so my husband, he actually just received an injury settlement check in the amount of $75,000.
Oh, wow. Is he okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So he's okay now and is fine. He's able to work.
Sorry.
And, has a good standard of life. He still has like pain, but for the most part, he is good.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. And so with that, I mean, we're living with my dad, and really our goal is we would love to be able to buy our own home. But just like in Phoenix and where we're looking with the house prices, even if we put like a 20% down payment, we can't even afford a mortgage, like a 30-year mortgage, let alone a 15-year fixed mortgage on my husband's income, what it is right now. And it just feels, really discouraging. And I know a lot of people feel that way right now, but, and the thought of having to save, another 50, 175 grand, whatever it would need to be to get that mortgage and that's 25% of our take home pay. It just feels like really overwhelming.
What do you guys make a year?
So last year he grossed $48,000, and then this year he's projected to make closer to $55,000.
$55,000. Okay. Okay. And you guys you're living with your dad, you're paying rent, but you guys really want to be out on your own. Do you have kids?
Yeah. We do, yeah. We have two. We have a baby. He's turning 1 on Thursday, and then an almost 3-year-old.
Okay.
2 boys.
Okay.
And so I guess my question is if it would be a good idea for us to put money into dividing my dad's house to make it like a more sustainable living situation long term and kind of plan to just stay here for the remainder of my dad's life. Mm-hmm. And then if that's not a good idea, kind of, secondly, where should we park that money in the meantime? We currently just have it in our money market account at our local bank. Yeah. But I'm just wondering if maybe there's something that is like more of like a short-term investment, like CD or something like that would be better.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I know so many people want to be homeowners. I mean, I feel like this is it's the American dream, right? And we talk about it a lot on this show. But the point is that math has to work for you guys, Ricky. And with the income that you guys have, which is fine, I want you to have a house not only that you can save up the down payment for, but that you guys can sustain, that the mortgage won't be, a huge part of your take-home pay, that it's going to be something that you guys actually see as a blessing and it doesn't end up being a curse and a burden. And so you have to be able to look at the price points of your income, and that's the starting point. And I think some people will jump to the house first, and they're like, okay, what's the kind of house we want? Let's figure out how to make our life work with that house. Where sometimes that's backwards. You guys have to look at your income and say, okay, we're making $55,000 a year. What can we afford with that income? And letting that be the springboard to the math, which means it may not be a huge house. It may not even be a single family home. Maybe it's a townhome, or maybe it's a condo for a bit. But I think getting in the market is a great goal for you guys. Do you guys have consumer debt?
So no, we had like a really small amount of kind of like non-traditional debt that my husband actually, we went to pay it yesterday, and then there was an issue. So he's actually going to pay that today. And that was like a little under $10,000.
Okay. And that's it. And then do you guys have any other savings besides?
And so then we had about $10,000 in savings as well that we had.
Okay.
And then we both have paper cars, and we don't like use credit cards really. We just had a couple ones that we were using to kind of build our credit, but we don't keep a balance. It's just like we use it to pay our internet, and that's it.
Okay. Well, what I would recommend, Ricky, is I feel like you guys, you're kind of dabbling in one area. You have this money over here, all of it. And I think getting everything together and looking at a holistic picture is going to help you guys. So I want you to stay on the line, and Austin will pick up. And I want you guys to go through Financial Peace University and your husband together, because what it's going to help you do is not only see, hey, our day-to-day life, like even you saying, yeah, we have credit cards, but we pay, bills with those and we pay it off every month. Like even having these lines in the sand when it comes to your money and the way you view your money is going to be so helpful. And so being able to get debt completely out of your life, having that emergency fund, which is that $10,000, which is great. And then saying, okay, beyond that, we want to save up for a down payment on a home. And that can be your next goal. And I think that it can be great. It may not be the house that you want to live in forever, but I do think that's something that you guys can start to work towards. And with the money that you have, the $75,000 from his claim, I would put it in a high yield savings account or a money market account if you guys know in the next probably 5 years, we're going to be buying something. But I think that being your next big goal is great. But again, Ricky, I would encourage you guys to work around what you make though. It might be discouraging. You might be like, gosh, that is not the kind of house that we thought we'd have or that we wanted.
Yeah.
But I want you guys to get into this home. Again, it may not be the home that you wanted, but at least it's home ownership and it's what you guys want. And it's reasonable. It's a reasonable percentage of your take-home pay, because that's going to be the biggest boundary you're going to have to set in your mind and in your heart and expectations when you go in and start shopping for a home.
Yeah, we were in escrow to buy a house, and then we ended up backing out of the sale because it wasn't going to be anything like the Ramsey principles. I listen to you guys, the podcast, literally every single day when I drive. And so we just actually ended up backing out of that sale. And then we were kind of wondering about putting money into my dad's house to make it, to divide the house.
And you can do that. I mean, depending on the health of your dad, I would hate to just wait around, to be a homeowner with his passing. I think you guys as a family can actually have a goal in place and actually start working for it. I'd get your income up for your husband and do what he can, if that means even shifting a little bit of career choices, but to be able to bring in some of that extra money, and that you guys really do leave and do your own thing. And then when he does pass, if the house is in the will and all of that, you can talk about that further. But I think for now, that's a goal for you and your family. So thanks, Ricky. This is The Ramsey Show.
We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility, because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily, so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. And if you guys enjoy this show and you're a listener on the regular, whether it's on podcast or radio or YouTube, please consider sharing it. I think this is one of the best ways for people to learn about it and hopefully take control of their money and find some peace when it comes to their life, whether that's in their relationships, their career, their marriage, their friendships, and also with their money. So again, leave a review, share the show, rate the show, all of it. It really is helpful in the algorithm of life and media. It is so helpful. And I find always for me, whenever someone recommends a podcast or a book and it's a friend, I'm usually up to actually do it. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to listen to that. So your friends and family will listen to you, people. I promise. So share the Ramsey Show with them so that hopefully, again, they can have some peace when it comes to their money. All right. Up next, we have Deborah in Orlando. Hey, Deborah. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Good to be here.
Yes. Well, thanks for calling. Okay. So I threw this curveball in the first segment to ask all the callers, do you have any money saving hacks when it comes to food? Because that's the one budget buster for so many people, and it's been affected by inflation so much. Do you have any tips?
So my big one that I've used that's been a huge money saver for me is I actually do a meat subscription box.
Oh, yeah.
So I get my meat, and because I'm a single mom and it's me and my 2.5-year-old, it stretches over 3 months, and so I'm getting my money's worth out.
So smart. Do you freeze the stuff that you don't use, obviously?
Yeah, and they come packaged up into pound segments, so I can just take it's fantastic.
Okay, and it's a better price than just going and buying it at the store when you need it.
Yeah, for me in Florida, it absolutely is.
Yes, okay, the meat subscription. Well done, Deborah. That's a great tip. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so what's your question for today?
So I'm in the beginnings of a surrogacy journey, and I'm going to be getting in extra income. I'm not sure if I should be incorporating it into my budget because once it fully starts, I'll have set dates of getting paid, or if I should just take it as extra commission bonus money and use it that way. Okay.
Where are you financially? Do you have debt? Do you have any savings?
I have my starter emergency fund, and Gazelle intends getting my $12,600 paid off by the end of August.
$12,600. So great. How much have you paid off so far?
The on and off Gazelle intensity, I've paid off about $13,000 over the years.
Good for you, Deborah. Well done. That's awesome. Okay, so how much will you be getting for this? What are the payments? What's the schedule, and how much money will be with each payment?
So the payments baseline are right around $3,500, but there's different segments where in month 3, they're going to send me extra money for a maternity wardrobe. The last 5 months, if I'm carrying twins, I get an extra $5,000. So there's a little bit of variation.
Okay. Yeah. So will you know ahead of time, though, how much it will be?
Yeah. The only unsure factors is if I go on bed rest, then they'll cover lost wages. I won't know that until I go on.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. No, that's great. So I would honestly see this more as a bonus because your current job that you're in, you're able to live off of that, correct? Your current income?
Yeah, I just got full time and I doubled my income. So I did my expense report and I'm able to pull an extra $3,000 to pay towards debt.
That's awesome. Okay, so I would just look at this. Yes, it's going to be technically income, but I would throw it at your baby step. So I would just see this as a bonus every 3 months and use it to attack your debt or to save up for your 3 to 6 months of expenses for your emergency fund.
Okay.
That's wonderful. How did you get into this journey? What was the motivation for you?
Being someone who's kind of always been a slave to debt, I've never had the ability to give financially to help other people. And it's something God put on my heart that was hey, you could give your body. You really enjoyed being pregnant. You could help another family.
Yeah.
So I was let's do that.
Yeah. And that's a gift for people. I know people that have gone through that journey before. So you definitely are offering something really wonderful to a family. So that's awesome, Deborah. So again, I would just use that extra money from those payments and throw it at your baby steps and continue it on. So I pray that it all goes well and health for you and the future baby and everything. So that's great, Deborah. Thanks for calling. All right, up next, we have Hudson in Portland. Hey, Hudson, welcome to the show.
Hi, glad to be on here.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to throw my question at you that I asked Deborah earlier. Do you have any grocery savings hacks or food saving hacks, Hudson, to save some money during this time?
So it's kind of obvious, but buying in bulk is what my family has always done. And then the important thing about it, though, is like, you run into Costco or Sam's Club or something and you see, bulk amounts of things that perish easy. You got to make sure you're buying bulk for your household size. So it might be tempting to get, 5 loaves of bread for, like, however much bread costs now, but for a really good price. But then it's like, if you only got 4 people in the house, you're not running through 5 loaves of bread every week.
That's true. Yeah, you don't want to go to all waste. Away. Yeah, for sure. But buying in bulk, that is when you can look at the price per ounce and all of that, especially the stuff that doesn't go bad. I'm a huge fan of that. That's so good. Okay, awesome. So what's your question today?
So my question today is, I'm about to, my wife and I are about to pay off our last piece of credit card debt. We only have about $750 left on that.
Congrats.
And then I've got some student loan debt. That's about $2,500. And then we have a vehicle loan for $32K. And so basically what I'm wondering is, with student loan interest rates still being frozen right now, should we focus on paying off the truck as fast as possible, or should I go ahead and just get my student loans done and out of the way? Yeah,
I would go ahead and get your student loans out of the way, because what we've found with debt payoff is actually less about interest rate and math, and it's more about behavior. I mean, you guys, I can hear your excitement in your voice now of like, oh my gosh, we only have $750 left to pay on this credit card. And there's just something about the momentum and the progress that you create in life that you're like, it's amazing the momentum that happens when you just don't have all these other payments going out. So financially, it's that snowball effect of having more and more money to throw at the car, because that is going to be your largest debt. So teaching people to pay off the smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate, is the way we've seen it be most effective. So honestly, I would for sure pay off that credit card, that $750, knock out that student loan, get it paid off, and it's just going to feel better. You're going to feel this weight really lifted off of even having that amount of debt paid off, and then I would go after the truck. So for the truck, how much do you guys make a year?
So combined, it's roughly, if I did my math right, $70K a year.
Okay. And does your wife have a car?
No, she does not.
Okay, so you guys are a one car family.
Right.
Okay, because you're kind of right at that cusp. We always say if you can't pay off the car in 12 to 18 months, you may have just too much car. So I want you guys to kind of run the math out and make sure that you guys are able to cut your lifestyle in order to pay this off. But if you feel like you're going to be having this for 3 more years, it's honestly not worth it to keep the truck. So you may want to look at even selling it. And our rule of thumb too is not to have anything with motors and wheels that's over 50% of your take-home pay per year, your income. And so you're kind of bumping up a little bit against that with this truck. So just a couple of things to think about. I think if you guys can knock it out and do some side hustles and get rid of this truck quickly, then you can keep it. But if it feels overwhelming and it feels like a lot, you might consider selling it.
Right, and that's why I was doing a ton of research before, getting myself into this mess. I'm like, am I going to feel overwhelmed or uncomfortable and living super paycheck to paycheck? But we're still able to feed and house ourselves with even with the truck payment on here. I have been selling like crazy though. To get that credit card knocked down, selling some other just stuff around the house that I don't need.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's what's really helped me, close out credit card debt.
That's great, Hudson. Well, you guys are on the journey. You're on it. So hit that student loan next after the credit card, and then start working to pay off the truck. But if it just gets really annoying and you're like, man, we just want to be debt-free faster, you can always sell the truck, buy a clunker, as we say, and then go back and save up and pay cash later. This is The Ramsey Show.
Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions of your life. You need a partner like Churchill Mortgage. Churchill is one of the highest rated lenders in the country, and they're Ramsey trusted because they do what's right for you. Churchill works with you to build a mortgage the Ramsey way, one that doesn't bust your budget, sets you up for financial success, and helps you get out of debt faster. Go to churchillmortgage.com today and get started.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz hosting this hour because most of our team is out of town. So all of the other Ramsey personalities that you hear on this show, including Dave Ramsey himself, they are all out. Most of them are in Southern California, Anaheim, to do our Building Wealth event. So we travel all over the country doing different events depending on the season. And this season we've been doing Building Wealth. So we were in Indianapolis and Austin, Salt Lake City, and now the team is in Anaheim. So I pulled some strings, texted a few people that I know, and I thought, how fun would it be for some of them to call in? I tried to convince Dave, so we'll see if that ends up happening in the show, to call in and tell us how it's going on the road and just to talk about things that are going on in our economy. So this is like a first time, I think, but we got Kenneth Coleman, old Ken Coleman, on the line. Hey, Ken.
Hey, Rachel. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're 2 hours behind. So did you sleep in?
No, as a matter of fact, the old body clock won.
Oh no!
I wish I could have slept in, but I think it was about 5:30 in the morning. My body was like, "Let's go."
Let's go.
Because I was sleeping in Central Time. But I got to tell you, I'm in my room here in Anaheim, and I'm overlooking Disney.
Oh no way! Y'all's hotel is right by Disneyland.
That's where we are. So anyway, fun times, and we miss you out here for sure.
I know. Well, I'm holding it down here in Nashville in the studio all by my lonesome, but that's fine.
You're doing great.
So y'all are excited about Building Wealth tonight. Y'all will have how many? Probably 2,000 people out there?
Yeah, it's going to be over 2,000 people packed out, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Always great to be out on the road and meet people and help them and give them hope that despite the uncertainty of our economy, that they can control their life. So always a great time.
So good. Well, the uncertainty of the economy, it's everywhere, Ken. I feel like I turn on the news or the app on my phone comes up, and the word recession is happening, that like the GDP dropped again, inflation is still all over the place. So what are things that you're seeing? Because you talk to people all the time about being in a career that they love and that they're really good at and kind of meeting all those passions together. But the job market is affected by things going on right now in the economy too.
Well, there's no question. So let's talk about your money. And that's what we're about on the Ramsey Show and what it means to your job when you've got a potential recession looming. So as you said, GDP dropped for a third straight month, and we are now seeing inflation starting to tick back up a little bit. And now what the big concern is with the Fed meeting tomorrow as we speak, most people believe they're going to do a 10th consecutive rate hike, a quarter point, and everybody's kind of watching to see, will this be the end or at least a pause for rate hikes? Now, Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, has said, Rachel, that part of the strategy of raising interest rates is they want to see the employment market soften. And what that means is unemployment rate goes up. We're still at 3.5%, but the latest job data came out this week that we saw less jobs open. So we saw a contraction. Companies aren't opening as many jobs. Now, here's where that puts us. That does lean us toward a recession. Most people think in the third or fourth quarter. Nobody knows how big it will be, but this is what it means to you, the person out there who's going, what about my job and my income and winning with money? When you see recession reports start to pop up more and more, and I think you'll see that in the next month to 2 months, you will start to see layoffs, and you could see the unemployment rate jump. And so if that
and that's
happens,
because companies are cutting where they can.
That's
to
right.
continue with cash flow.
We don't know how bad it's going to be. That's right. And so it's almost like when we in our own personal budgets, When we sense that there's going to be more expenses, what do? We hopefully tighten down everything. And that's the advice here today. We don't know how bad the recession is going to be. We don't know when it is going to be. But what we know is that we can be recession-proof. And you certainly understand that. We've got to cut our unnecessary expenses.
Yeah.
We've got to keep dropping debt as fast as we can. And then we've got to increase our income. And here's the good news, Rachel. We are in a very good part-time job, side hustle economy, freelance economy. And I would be making as much money as possible, saving if you're out of debt, or killing debt, reducing those household expenses, so that if you are laid off, you've got a plan. And that's the key. I want people to understand that you don't have to be victim to a recession and to your company laying you off. You can get ahead of this and be ready.
Yeah, because, I mean, Ken, I was in the lobby earlier, and there was a guy, and he said he paid off almost $100,000 delivering pizzas. Like, it's proof that there is availability to go and make money doing things that are not just your typical 9-to-5 job, that people think, when they hear the word career, they may have this just like stereotype in their head of, that's going to an office and it's 9-to-5. But the world we live in now, I mean, it's so different. Like, there are so many things you can even just piece together if you needed to for a season and actually make great income. And I think that's what's encouraging to people is, it used to be like, oh yeah, well, if you did a certain level of job, you're not going to make much. But that's kind of just exploded, I feel like, in the sense of it's amazing what people are paying, what employers are paying employees for even these side hustles.
Well, you're absolutely right. I'll give you 4 quick ones. So I just pulled up some information from all the different job sites out there, and I just did an aggregate, okay? And so let's talk about personal driving. Now, these are in areas where if you live in a wealthy area, in a metropolitan area, even if you're in the suburbs, people are looking for personal drivers. Okay, this isn't delivering pizza. This is driving, delivering food, and/or driving errands and things like that for people that are wealthy. You're looking at about $20 per hour average. Nannies right now and babysitting, this, all-time highs. An average salary across the country of about $20 an hour in some form of nannying. Freelance work. Let's take a skill that you have right now in your current job. Can you offer yourself online after hours as a freelancer? The average freelancer salary right now, $22 an hour. And then one more, tutors. You can't believe how online tutoring has exploded because you can tutor anywhere. The average tutor right now in the country is making about $24 per hour. So those are examples of what you just brought up, that in any economy, certain or uncertain, if you are willing to put in the work, you can stack money up to, again, get rid of debt, to save, and be recession-proof.
That's good.
It's all up to you.
Yes, it's so good, Ken. And kind of talk to the person that may feel hesitant at times, because I feel like if you're used to a certain path when it comes to your career, especially before COVID, and everything has shifted. So whether you've shifted jobs or you've lost your job, if you're going to be somebody that's going to be affected by this, even in the 3rd and 4th quarter, there's no job that's beneath you. And you're really great at kind of hitting this right on, Ken, because of how important it is that it's like, put your ego aside. Like, there's going to be seasons of life that you just need to do what you need to do to get that margin and to get that peace of mind.
Yeah, it's a really good point. It does not matter what the job is. What matters are the results of the job. And if you are making extra money to put you and your family in better financial situation, to achieve financial peace, to be recession-proof, to take care of very important unforeseen medical expenses, work is worthy. And it doesn't matter what you look like, smell like. What matters is that you're making money for the important things in your life. All work is honorable. And I think it's a very important point. And no one else cares. Everybody else got their own problems. But if you are out there doing what it takes to get out of debt, to create that emergency fund, that full emergency fund, to create so much peace in your life, to take care of some unforeseen medical expenses, to make a move for your child when they need maybe some special help in school or whatever. That is what you're focused on, the result of the work, not the work itself.
Yes, that's so good. And not to let words like recession and these scary headlines that could be everywhere and could actually paralyze people, freak people out, and they make bad decisions because of this fear, to actually focus on what's going on in your home. And even the examples you just gave of, actual needs that families have, And so focusing on you and your household is so key during times that feel all over the place and that fear can take over. So Ken, thanks for calling in all the way from California. I wish you guys the best at the event tonight. If you're in Anaheim, there might still be some tickets. It might be sold out, but you can check RamseySolutions.com. And the team's over in Anaheim, California for our Building Wealth event tonight. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. We just got off the phone with Ken Coleman, one of our Ramsey personalities that's out in California doing our Building Wealth event. And if you guys love the stuff that he talks about on the Ken Coleman Show or have read his books, he's actually going to be in Chicago, Atlanta, and Dallas in May doing the Career Breakthrough events. And these are smaller events, so tickets are limited. So make sure to go to RamseySolutions.com/events to, if you're in that city or want to travel to one of those cities, and to listen to Ken, because he has so much great stuff to say when it comes to your passions and your career. So people are either naturally a spender or a saver, and I'm definitely a spender. So having any cash on hand is something that I love, that I can use to, go out to eat, buy something, shop. That's one reason I'm so excited to announce our Ramsey Cash giveaway. It is back. So this is your chance to win up to $500 to $3,000, which is our grand prize. And it's really easy to enter. All you have to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway, and you can increase your chances of winning by entering every single day. No purchase necessary, but you must be 18 or older to win. And we're not stopping there. If you love a good sale, we have our $10 sale going on. It's kind of the infamous Ramsey Solutions sale where a lot of our products, over 30 products, are only $10. So this is everything from questions for humans, Dr. John Deloney's products, some of his books, Dave Ramsey's newest best-selling book, Baby Steps Millionaires, my book, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, and even more. So again, 30 items there in the Ramsey Solutions store online are just $10. And a lot of people buy this stuff for themselves. They buy it for people to give away. But go to RamseySolutions.com and check out the $10 sale today. All right, it is a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And up next, we have Nathan in Indianapolis. Hey, Nathan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, taking my call.
Absolutely. Okay, so before we get to your question, we've been asking people this hour if they have any tips when it comes to saving money on food. So whether that's groceries or going out to eat, because with inflation and food on the rise, it's always the biggest budget buster category. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot, Nathan, but do you have any tips when it comes to saving for food?
I 100% do, and that is shop at Aldi for everything, because Aldi is the greatest store in the history of the world for people trying to save money. And the food is still great quality. So Aldi, that's a shameless plug.
No, I love it. And it's funny, on my show, The Rachel Cruz Show, that's one of the places I tell people to go. I'm like, go to Aldi. And because you save so much on your grocery bill to the point that people are like, are you sponsored by Aldi? I was like, nope, but I should be because I promote it all the time. So we are on the save wavelength there, Nathan. That's great. Great tip. All right. So what's your question today?
Well, my question is in relation. So my wife and I, we have two debts left. We have a car loan that is $9,500. Interest rate of 6.99%. It's a fixed rate. That's important to the second part of this question. Our other debt is my wife's student loan, which we have $22,500 left on, but it is on a variable interest rate, which is currently at 14.75% and has been climbing at about 0.25% a month. And I know I'm supposed to be focused on that smaller one, but watching the interest rate and therefore the monthly payment go higher every month on the other one is really starting to eat at me a little bit. And so I was curious if there are, is consolidation a possibility to get just a fixed interest rate with the two of these, even though my name is not on my wife's student loan, just so we can keep, because it feels like we're just working against ourselves with that interest rate going up, meaning the payment going up, and is
it a private loan?
It is. It's a private loan through Sallie Mae.
Yeah. Okay.
And our salary is, I'm a youth pastor. We make $48,000 a year. And so when those payments go up, we start to notice it and lose some of that extra money that we want to throw at the car debt.
Yeah.
And so we tried to refinance her student loan, but she has a couple of marks of delinquency on her credit due to some accounts that her mother opened without her knowledge back when she was a senior in high school. So I believe those should drop off sometime this year, but
have you guys contacted the creditors about that? Because, I mean, that's basically like a level of identity theft of her mom doing that.
Right. So we have, but the issue is that my wife, she received so one of them was for a computer. One of them was for some items that are some clothing items that her mom gave to her. So because she received benefit from it, then they said that there wasn't much we could do as far as disputing it. And it's obviously there's a whole tense relationship there component as well.
Right. For sure.
So I was just wondering what our options are to lower that interest rate while we focus on the car. Is consolidation even possible in this situation, or what your advice would be? Yeah,
it's a great question, because usually with debt consolidation, for majority of people, we kind of we shy against it because what happens is it's you're not going to be able to change your behavior because people they work at the math issue, right? So, but for you guys, the one type of debt we do say to consolidate that we're okay with is actually student loans, because you're more than likely not going to go back into student loan debt, right? So the issue of fixing the behavior is a big part of winning with money long term, and debt consolidation ends up just trying to fix the math of it and not the behavior. But for you guys in this situation, it might actually be an option to go and look to say, okay, if we consolidate these because the interest rate is completely out of control and it keeps growing with these private student loans. So you can, again, I want to say out loud, though, the caution is that this isn't going to fix your life, right? I mean, the idea that you consolidate debt, a lot of people think, well, that's the fix and that's going to make it okay. But still, the hard work and sacrificing lifestyle, taking on an extra job, doing the things you have to do to get above this debt and pay it off is still at play. So math isn't always the problem, but in your situation, Nathan, I see where math is the problem. I mean, it's an insane interest rate, but even credit cards, they're up to this type of interest rate too right now with inflation. So if you guys wanted to, it's something you could look into, but the problem is it's not going to go away. This debt is still going to be there. So I still want that intensity from you and your wife to continue on, even if it's just kind of shuffling around interest rates and debt. But it may give you a little bit of breathing room month to month, like you're saying, because it continues to go up. And you're saying it's going up 2% a month?
0.25%.
Oh, 0.25. Oh my gosh, I thought you said 2.5. And I was like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah, I would be probably dead of a heart attack.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, Nathan, honestly, at this point, I think looking at your income and you guys saying, hey, for a season, what does it look like to up that income, live on nothing, which, I mean, you guys are doing, I mean, you're $48,000 with a family. Do you guys have kids?
Yeah, 2 kids.
Okay, yeah.
3 and under.
So you're feeling it. Your wife doesn't work.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, for this season, Nathan, I would encourage you to look to say, we were just talking about side hustles in the last segment with Ken Coleman and what you can do to get that income up to pay this off. Because again, you can go, I mean, if you get off the call and go and consolidate, that's not a wrong thing to do, but it doesn't fix the problem. And that's what ends up happening with debt consolidation so often is people think it's the fix and it's not. You're the fix. You and your wife are, you guys are the ones that are able to fix this problem, not math. So again, if it's something that you want to look into, you can. But you guys have a journey ahead of you. Have you paid off any debt so far besides the numbers you just gave me?
Yeah, we have paid off about $22,000 worth of debt since we got married.
Oh, wow.
4 years
Awesome.
ago.
Congratulations. That's awesome. So you guys are on this, you're on this journey. You know what it feels like to win. So yeah, with these last 2 debts, if you want to do it, again, you can, but the secret sauce is you guys and what you've already accomplished so far. So I just want to encourage you on that. Again, it's not the easy way out, but if it helps you with the math and the interest rates right now, while things continue to rise, you can look into it, but you guys are it. The people that get out of debt and choose this path, they're the ones that end up being the heroes of their own story. So thanks, Nathan, so much for the call. And thank you, America. Thanks to all the guys in the booth as we host this show, as I'm hosting this show solo today. Thank you, America. Again, 888-825-5225. Call in. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. So I am Rachel Cruz, hosting this show solo because most of our team is out in California at the Building Wealth live events that they are doing tonight. And so as James and I, the producer, were talking about segments of the show and how to make the show fun, we had a lot of real estate calls yesterday that were coming in with Jade, our Ramsey personality, and I were hosting. And James was like, man, it'd be cool, Rachel, if your husband came in and answered some of these real estate questions. And I thought, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll text and ask him. So I was like, babe, would you come in and do an hour of the show and talk about real estate on The Ramsey Show? And you said?
Sure. Oh, no, I said, let me think about it.
Let me think about it. So we talked last night. So I roped him in, you guys. This is a first. But I really did want to have this discussion because we talk about building wealth a lot on this show. And for a lot of people, especially our age, and things I see on social media, Instagram, TikTok, all the stuff, investment real estate is something that people really are interested in. And they think it's kind of this get rich quick. And you see these numbers of these Instagram influencer financial people. And they're like, oh yeah, just go and borrow a bunch here and get some rental houses and get some tenants in. And this passive income. It's like the easiest thing ever. I make so much money every month doing that. And I'm sitting there always listening, knowing what you go through when it comes to rentals and real estate, because you have your license, you have a brokerage, you've been doing real estate for how long?
10, 12 years.
10, 12 years, yeah. Through development and having tenants and all of that. So
yeah.
I kind of want to...
I used to interrupt this show while Dave was doing it, and I'd run downstairs and pitch him a deal while he was on air back in 2012 days. Yeah. And so it's full circle now. So now I get to deliver all of the mistakes and wisdom that you want to know. That's it.
Okay, but just debunk the high level myth that like it's just so easy. All you do is just have a renter and have passive income, and that's it. It's mailbox money.
Yeah. No, I think the dream is easy, and that's what everybody gets sold on. Everybody gets sold on this lifestyle that they see or could imagine without having to necessarily work.
Yes.
And I think there's a correlation between COVID and the kind of passive income, quick money flip phase in culture, because I think it's kind of fed this, we can make life whatever we want it to be, and there doesn't have to be any pain associated with it.
Yes.
And as with most things in life, especially with money, there's nothing like that exists. Unless you win the lottery, and that's a lot of gas station pain. So, so it is I think the dream is easy, but actually getting to this point where you've got passive income takes a long time and a lot of work and a lot of headache, and you're going to have gray hairs, and you're going to go through a lot of crap to get there. And so it's just not what you see on Instagram. It's not what you see on LinkedIn. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time that sometimes your lifestyle may not be set up that way. And honestly, I don't know if that should be a part of your immediate goal. It's all dependent on your total financial picture, but it's not really an immediate goal that you need to just have this this income coming in the mailbox where you don't have to do anything, because it is way harder than that.
And the hard comes from you doing it all these years. Is it from finding the deal? Because that's one of the best ways to do that. If you get into real estate investing, once you have paid off your home, you have no debt, you have savings, retirement, you do all the baby steps. The pain, is it more on the front end of finding a good deal? Because you talk about that, buying a good deal on the front end. Or is it the pain of actually having the tenant and having to manage maintenance, the people, the rent, I mean, all of that.
Yeah, no, unless you're renting to a robot, it's all of it. So when we were buying things, it was every 30 offers you would get one contract. And of those 30 offers, most of them weren't great deals. And this was back in the recession in 2012 when people were begging for deals. They were begging for a cash offer, and it still took one out of every 30. So it takes a ton of time. You got to be in the newspapers looking for foreclosures. You got to be getting into the marketplace, making relationships with brokers that will send you deals. You got to be making relationships with title companies to make sure that you know and are aware of clear title when you're looking into something that could be very risky. So it's not a simple game, and it's not a risk-free game. It's very risky. It is a huge financial decision, but it should be a part of your overall financial picture, not the one thing, the silver bullet that allows you to not have to work.
Yes, because I think that's it. I think that's the lie that we constantly try to debunk on this show, because again, we get these calls all the time of like, well, I saw this and this, and I want to, have some rental properties and all that. But I'm like, the amount of work, the amount of effort to even find the deal, like you're saying, it's a whole other set of knowledge, right? That you can learn. I mean, not that that you're not capable of it, but it's not this shoe-in, easy access, idea of investing.
Yeah.
It really does. It takes so much work on the front end. And then once you do it, again, we encourage all cash. So you're going to start small, move at the speed of cash. But then also, too, the person in the house or in the condo or in the townhome that's renting, that's another risk, that if you go and take on debt and get a bunch of rental properties, those people that you're depending on to pay the mortgage, plus maybe some more, that may not always happen.
Yeah. So I will say the other side of the coin is it's amazing. So I'm not saying, oh, this is all pain and terrible. It's amazing, but and it is doable. So your and I's first rental property was a condo for $42,000, and we saved up $42,000 and bought this 1-bedroom condo. And
it was not nice.
Oh,
it was gross.
It was awful. You put $10,000 into it and rented it out, and I thought I had made it. Like, I thought, this is it. And then you start cashing the checks, and you're like, oh, there's $700. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. $700. Next month, $700. Next month, the $700 came in, but the water heater broke.
That's right.
And then you start running that out, over every 12 months, how much rental income how much rental income comes in, and then the actual expenses that it takes to run that thing, plus the amount of people you have to deal with, and all of that headache chasing rent. You're basically netting.
It's tough.
$1,000.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. The amount of work.
We did sell that condo 4 years ago for $125,000, and that's the beauty of it.
Right.
But again, it's long term and difficult.
Yep. So we are for real estate. That's my dad's whole story. Obviously, that has helped with Ramsey Solutions. Was in real estate. He loves real estate. Married a guy who loves real estate. So we are all for it, but doing it the smart way, the right way, and just to debunk that it's not this just easy shoe-in passive income that it's made to be on social media. So we're going to talk more about that and take your calls here on The Ramsey Show. Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Rachel Cruz hosting this hour, and while most of the Ramsey personalities are out of town, which caused me to do a solo show, we thought it'd be fun to do a real estate hour and bring on my husband, Winston Cruz, to talk about real estate.
Yeah, good. I thought it was because Dave was out of town and y'all were doing the show solo, so we thought we'd just hijack it, but that's good to know.
It's just, it's our own rules. When he's gone, when he's not in the state, we get to do what we want.
I parked in a debt-free spot. I hope that's okay.
Oh gosh, for a family. I'm sure that's okay. I think you can get away with that. All right, so again, we're taking your calls when it comes to real estate investing, and all the things. Okay, up first we have Andres in Canada. Hey, Andres, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks so much for taking my call. I appreciate what you guys do so much. I live the Ramsey way, so thank you so much for what you do. Amazing.
Well, thanks for calling. How can we help?
Yeah, so I just want to hear your feedback on investing in a quadplex. The last week, I've heard a couple different comments from your personalities kind of poking fun at the quadplex kind of investment, and you guys haven't really explained why. And I'm in the middle of kind of purchasing a quadplex, and I'm paying all cash. I am completely debt-free. So I just wanted to kind of check in and see if there's any kind of red flags or anything that I need to be aware of. I have experience with a rental property, which I've sold, and now I want to do a better investment with a quadplex.
Okay, and is this your only investment property? You had one that you sold, and you're going to take the profits of that. Is it to upgrade,
That's
just
correct.
to have more units?
Yeah, so I sold that one, paid off what I owed on the mortgage, and I've made a good amount of money. And then there's a quadplex that I can buy out in cash, and it has tenants already with a lease ready to go, and it brings in about $4,000 a month of income. So
that's great. I'm curious with the other, because you said the other Ramsey personalities on the show this week or last week were kind of, was it negative because single family home was just traditionally a better investment when it comes to real estate? Is that what they were saying? I was trying to think of exactly their concerns to help you.
That was sort of Dave's kind of point of view. He mentioned a little bit on that, but then Jade was kind of poking fun at people just acquire. I don't know if it's the investment itself of how they're acquiring the investment. So I just kind of wanted to, just get some feedback if there's anything I need to be aware of on a quadplex investment specifically, or if you guys kind of give me your blessing, and if it was just more of, just people doing crazy things to get into the rental market.
Andres, I'm your biggest fan, and I'm not a personality, so I think I can say whatever I want. But are you? What's your long-term goal with this property?
I don't have a long-term goal right now. It just seemed like I love being debt-free, and I wanted to get rid of the mortgage on that rental property, which is all the debt I had left.
Yeah.
And I had a ton of equity in it. So I just wanted to sell it and move into an investment just paid for in cash. And this amazing deal just kind of came up. And I don't think, I don't have any plans of buying and selling it. It's not my goal. My goal is just to get kind of more monthly income.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea. Obviously, I love that you would own it debt-free. So that $4K goes in your pocket every month, other than taxes and insurance and whatever problems you're going to have. I like the quadplex because it's efficient. You have, is it local? The property, is it local? You can go see it?
Yeah, I mean, it's about a 45-minute drive from where I am. I mean, I live in the middle of nowhere in the country. It's just the next town over kind of thing. And the property does have a husband and wife who do. One is the handyman in case there's any emergency.
Hey, Andres, can you talk? Hey, Andres, can you talk directly into your phone? We're having a little trouble hearing you.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me there? Okay?
There, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the property has already connections of a husband and wife. One of them is the handyman, who's just in case there's any emergencies, he's there to fix stuff if needed. And then there's a lady as well, his wife, who does the cleaning and does any showings if needed, because the current owner of that property lives out of town. So it's kind of this well-packaged deal that, all these connections are there in place already. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're a smart guy. You've been in this deal before with the property you just sold. You're running a mini HOA with 4 people living right next door and sharing a wall. So that would be one of the downsides. There's more potential for problems there.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've even gone and met the tenants, and you can feel in your gut what you're getting into, and when you try it on, it either fits or it doesn't. So I feel like your experience, you're checking all the boxes, and then the numbers on your return is just your offer is whatever you want to make on it. I would typically recommend no less than 10% after you run that $48,000 a year, and then minus your operating expenses. Gives you your net operating income, and I would try to go for 10% off of that number.
How much is it? How much is it, Andres?
It's $160,000.
Okay.
I'm
going to move to Canada.
Yeah, small town Canada right now, they're booming. To me, there's absolutely no red flags on the investment. My only red flag was kind of you guys. I follow everything you guys do carefully. I have for quite a few years now, and it was just little comments here and there kind of poking fun at it, but I've never had heard the official kind of why.
Yeah, and
I assume they're just people doing crazy things, getting in debt and stuff.
Right, no, and I think that's probably an element of it, kind of that get-rich-quick stuff we were talking about at the segment before. But, I mean, Winston, have you found, like, when you do duplexes, quadplexes, all of that, is there potential for more issues, more problems versus just a single family home?
No,
dealing with one tenant?
Not necessarily. You do kind of narrow your exit strategy a little bit with a quad or duplex because you're not necessarily going to get a single family. But when you sell it down the road, that's why I asked, what's your long-term plan? If you're going to buy and hold and you're going to make your money back in 2.5 years on this thing, it doesn't matter what kind of structure it is. You can sell it for whatever you want to later on, and it will go up in value. You just narrow the market that you're going to market to in a seller down the road.
That's exactly it. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Is that whoever's going to buy this from me is going to be an investor, right? Just trying to get a deal.
Yep, and by that time you're going to have taken care of it so well that your rent's going to go up, and they're going to make a different percentage on it that is going to be higher than what you bought it for.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your feedback. I appreciate it.
For sure. Absolutely. Thanks for calling us, Andres. We are taking your real estate calls this hour at 888-825-5225. So, when we talk about investing in real estate, again, just to be over communicate here on the show, it's like an Andres, right? You are completely debt-free, including your home. You've maxed out retirement because so many of our everyday millionaires we talk to, I mean, so much of it is in their primary home, the equity there that is part of their net worth, and their investments. You look at 401ks, Roth IRAs, these have great track records. They're, from a tax perspective, are fantastic. And so being able to do that and go down those lanes first and foremost is what we recommend. And then after that is where you can look to diversify your wealth building. And for a lot of people, that is real estate when they get to that point. And so when you and Dave, Dad, went through all that, I mean, it was a lot during the recession. So again, this was 10 years ago when you guys did a lot of your purchasing. For people today that may be in that position of baby step 7, they have some cash and we want to get into it and pay cash for real estate. I mean, people are having a tough time buying a home for their primary family right now. Do you find that would you hold right now and wait for the market?
I would. If you have cash in your pocket and you're looking to get into real estate, I would be kind of foaming at the mouth, because it's happening. The correction's happening. I hope for everybody that it's not like it was in 2008, and I don't think it will be.
Yeah.
But things will go on sale, and
that's the best time to buy.
I'd be waiting it out.
So good. All right, again, 888-825-5225, taking your real estate calls. I'm Rachel Cruz, co-hosting this hour for the first time ever with my husband, Winston Cruz, talking real estate. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with my husband, first time ever, Winston Cruz. And real estate has been part of my family for ever and ever and ever. And then married a guy who loved real estate and does it for a living as well. So we thought it would be fun while all the Ramsey personalities were gone to kind of hijack the show and have a discussion around investment real estate, because it's a hot topic for a lot of people and all over social media. It's just kind of the new, it feels like the thing, not new thing, but it's the thing people want to get into to build wealth. So we're taking your calls this hour at 888-825-5225. So up next, we have Kyle in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Kyle, welcome to the show.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yep, absolutely. How can we help?
Yeah, I was just curious, kind of really straightforward here, is whether it's a larger sum of money, like if somebody right now, in this market had somewhere between, 250,000 to potentially play with, would it make sense to be investing in the real estate space right now, or to stay in more of your traditional investments or stocks?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, Kyle, I'm assuming you're asking for yourself, right? These numbers and everything is kind of where you're at. Yeah. So if that's the case, where are you financially overall? Do you have consumer debt? Do you have other savings besides this $275,000?
Yes. So there's savings, not a lot of consumer debt, debt on a current house, that we're in right now, or just like owing on a mortgage. So I'm kind of curious. I was going to.
How much do you have left on that?
Right now? Yeah. So we have about 400 left on that. So that was going to be kind of my follow-up, is would it make sense to invest in the current space, or just to contribute to the current space we're in, or to be looking outwardly?
Yeah. Well, it's a great question. And so one of the things we talk about, because I know you said you have some consumer debt. So I would encourage you to take some of this cash and throw it at that and just become debt-free from consumer debt, whether that's student loans or credit cards, personal loans. And then take some of that $275 and put it in a high yield savings account or a money market account for 3 to 6 months of expenses for an emergency fund. And so once you kind of clear all of that, then I would first and foremost go through and max out what you can when it comes to your 401k, a Roth IRA. How much do you guys make a year?
Together combined, we're about 650,000.
Say it one more time. You cut out.
Yeah, sorry about that. Together combined, my wife and I, about 600 to 650,000.
Okay. Well, you guys make a great income, Kyle. So if I were in your shoes, I mean, I would go ahead and limit some lifestyle and knock out this mortgage, and then it sets you up at that point to max out all retirement and then look at other options, which would be real estate. So I would use that $250 to throw out your mortgage and the income you have. And then if we look forward, Kyle, 3 years from now, just to throw a timeline out there where everything is paid off, you guys have a great income, you have cash that you're just saving, and you get back to this point of having maybe $250,000, $300,000 in the bank. Then that's when I feel like real estate investing could come into play, where you can start thinking about that.
Great.
Yeah. Hey,
great.
Kyle, this is Winston. I want you to have real estate. I love your question, and if I were you, I'd be thinking, I've got $250 to play with, and I would love to have some fun with it in real estate. At the same time, you really don't need income at this point in your all's financial journey. So my thought would be similar to Rachel's. We're married, so we've gone through some of this before.
Share the same wavelength.
But I would get some of that debt off your back, and then later on start to think, okay, that $250 is going to turn into something bigger in the future when passive income can allow you to do certain things with your life that you may not be able to do now from a time perspective. But the reason you would be putting $250 somewhere would not be for your income. You'd be doing it just so you can start to build equity in a secondary home or a rental property. But you don't really need to. You've got great income. You've got a giant shovel to pay off that debt. It would be fun today to do real estate. It will be so much better later when you can do it without that debt taking away some of that income.
Yeah, that's great advice. Awesome.
Great. Thanks,
awesome.
Kyle.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the big things is getting everything in your home in your life, right? So your primary home, again, going back to investing in those just traditional retirement vehicles that we talk about all the time, and doing all of that. And then when it's freed up, so in his case, has a great income. When you're making $600,000 a year, he doesn't need the $700 mailbox money coming from, a condo. So if it's in that case, do you then look at if you get into real estate at that point, it's so long-term thinking that it's all about the equity at that point than the quote unquote passive income coming in, because you're not in need of that. Do you know what I'm saying? Is the mindset difference when you're trying to do it for income versus just long-term investing, maybe even generationally?
Yeah, it's a risk game. So you're moving the risk. Even if he could pay cash for a property today with that $250, but he's still got this debt, $400,000 of debt. So you still got risk there. But if you go leverage a piece of property and you pay off your house or whatever the $400,000 is, then you've got risk on the property. So it's like, right. If you have $600,000 coming in every year, go pay off your debt, and then build up a big old fund and go buy a piece of real estate that's actually you're going to feel it every month. Because if you go buy a $250,000 piece of real estate, unless you're Andres up in Canada, making $48,000 a year on $160,000, then it's not going to change your life.
Yeah,
it's not going to change your life, and that's the other lie, is that if I go buy a house, it's going to change my life. No, it's not. It's going to be $1,000 a month, and then the HVAC's going to go out, and then you're going to net zero the first year after your operating expenses. And you're going to ask yourself, oh, this isn't as fun as I thought it was, because they got a cat. And I said no pets. And now I have to deal with the cat lady.
Has that happened, Winston? Tell us about the cats.
I have said no to 1,000 four-legged animals, and they all act like it's a personal family member.
Pet? I would say for a lot of people, it is.
Oh, they're all mad at me, and I'm like, well, it says no pets, no smoking. And they say it's the only dog in the world that doesn't poop anywhere, or it is the only cat that doesn't shed. And I'm like, even if it's a skinless or a furless cat, they're so ugly that you can't have one in my property. So no, it happens all the time. People go around the system and go get an animal, and then you got to go in there and bust the thing up like you're doing a drug deal.
Is that your number one piece of advice for if you're a landlord? If you are buying an investment property, you are Andres having the quadplex up in Canada, is no animals, like, is that your number one?
I think it's a personal decision because people would pay $10,000 for their personal four-legged family member on a security deposit. So it's up to you, the investor. I'm just trying to reduce headache and turnover cost and the drama of it. But people are getting ESA, emotional support animals now.
Yeah.
As a way to get around it.
Yes.
Let me just say this. It is legit.
Yeah.
Like there are people that have the papers that need to do it. But there's also strategies that have popped up now because of all the animal policies, and people have a guinea pig that they pet when they start to have a increased heart rate, and it's like that doesn't qualify in my house. But
no guinea pigs? Even in it?
No.
Even in it?
No. But that's a personal decision for the investor.
George Camel was on here a few months ago and said something about a horse and all of it, and he got some hate on YouTube. So I will be curious about the comments.
I felt like guinea pig was a safe play.
That was probably the safest you could have done. Well done. You're a pro.
Thanks for having me.
Go safe. All right, again, taking your questions when it comes to real estate and specifically investment real estate here on The Ramsey Show. 888-825-5225. Well, if you haven't heard, we're doing something around here that we've actually never done before. Two things. Actually, this hour of The Ramsey Show, co-hosting with my husband, Winston, talking about real estate. But also, all of the Ramsey personalities are leading a Financial Peace University class, including myself, and I want you to join my virtual class. So we're really excited about this. You're going to learn everything you need to know when it comes to handling your money, how to pay off debt, how to build wealth, all of it. And I'm going to be your personal cheerleader through that class. Plus, you are going to be part of a community of thousands of other people in each class. So again, this is one of the best ways to learn how to handle your money is through Financial Peace University. So there are a few days left for my class. My class starts next Monday, and Mondays and Wednesdays during the lunch hour from 1 p.m. Eastern Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Time will be my class. Jade Warshaw starts an evening class in that same time, and it's about 4.5 weeks to go through all 9 lessons, and then all the other Ramsey personalities will be doing a class later this summer. So to find out more and to sign up for my class, because we're going to have a lot of fun, I promise. Go to fpu.com to sign up today. Again, that's fpu.com, and my class starts on Monday. All right, our question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Neighborly.com is the place to find reliable help for your home from locally owned businesses like AirServe, Dryer Vent Wizard, Precision Guard, for your garage door, Window Genie, and more. For expert help with everything you need to know, go to neighborly.com. And today's question comes from Daniel in New Jersey. I see many multifamily real estate investment groups on LinkedIn and other platforms. What are your thoughts on investing with these groups? Many of them require a minimum investment of $35,000. It is my understanding that this investment is to grow capital needed to construct or purchase an apartment complex or condo type housing. The payouts come at an undetermined point in the future. Am I missing the mark, am I on mark, or am I missing the target? Is this a risky investment?
Oh man, Daniel, just keep scrolling down LinkedIn. There is no way I would ever do $35,000 of something based on something on LinkedIn, even especially in real estate investment. So
yeah.
They're probably funding something that is a big crowd-funded thing to get a project done, and there's going to be a lot of small print. It's going to be not guaranteed. You're going to have an attorney look over the documents. If I have $35,000, there's no way I'm doing anything with anybody that big where I just put it into a bucket of the abyss, and hopefully there's a predetermined payout in the future. If you're going to do something that boring, you should check with your financial advisor, because most of the time they're going to have a certain amount of funds that you've given them to work with that will be in a real estate investment trust or a REIT. So you could be effectively doing that and not even know it yet. I would check with your advisor on that, but you probably you could ask them how much of your investment is in a REIT along with your mutual funds and things like that, because that's how boring it is. I would rather do something on my own where I control everything and I can go see and touch and feel the house or the investment property, as opposed to finding something on LinkedIn and just writing a blind check to it. No, Daniel.
No, the answer is no. But there are these groups, though, again, not 35,000, but, and I feel like we even had a family friend talk about this, where it's like you pull your money together, a bunch of investors, and they go buy something in Phoenix or whatever, right? And they have investments other places, and they get a portion, a percentage of the equity payout or whatever it is. So even though shared, you have a lot of caution around those.
It can work, but I would check with that company and make them show you a track record of everything that they've ever done in the past, because there is nothing guaranteed. It's highly risky. They could go do a capital raise for an investment across the country that you've never seen before, and then that company goes up, or the economy continues to slow down, like you talked about earlier this show, and then the thing just gets put on hold, or even worse, you just lose all your money. I'd rather do it through real estate investment trusts that's just stable, steady. If you're going to do something like that, again, there's no big payout scenario that's worth the risk.
Yeah.
In real estate.
It's good. All right, we're going to the phones this hour, and Leland is in Olympia, Washington. Hey, Leland, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Winston. My question was, I have bought a property last year in the spring for $60,000, and I just met the realtor a couple of days ago out there, and he says he could get $135,000 for it. During the course of the summer, me and my wife bought a property in Romania, and we plan to move there as missionaries. So now my thought is, should I take that $100,000, the property's paid off, so should I take that $100,000, $120,000, whatever it is, and buy another property that I could rent out close to my in-laws in New York where I could afford it?
That's a great question. How are you paying for the home in Romania?
Cash. It's a cheap house.
Okay.
Yeah. Their economy's terrible over there.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. And your hope is to take this. Do you guys need any amount of cash? Do you have enough savings for you guys when you live over there as missionaries to be able to sustain the lifestyle that you guys want?
Yeah, we do. We have enough cash we will have enough cash to live. My goal is to live there for at least a year, have enough to live there for at least a year before I start seeing what I can do to make money around there and support myself. So kind of the idea with this property is, should I can't buy a property around here in Washington because land is so expensive. But back in upstate New York, where my wife's from, the land is really cheap, and I could buy like $100,000 property and rent on it is like $1,250 a month. So is it stupid to do that so far away?
I mean, being a long-distance landlord, I'll have Winston kind of speak into that. My other question before we get into it, Leland, I just want to make sure, do you guys have any other like retirement investments anywhere else? Do you have any other money saved?
I have a very small 401k.
Okay.
Yeah, Leland, I wouldn't rush to do anything. If your furthest projection for Romania is 1 year, that money's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to burn a hole in your pocket and fall out. I would keep it just in the bank until you figure out something that's a little more long term than 12 months. Is there a bigger reason why you're wanting to rush into getting something and renting it out?
Well, I might have said that wrong. We're not. We're planning to be over there indefinitely.
Okay.
In Romania. But we might, things could fall apart. Something could happen 10 years from now, 20 years from now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We need to come home.
I heard you wrong.
Yeah, and then also we'll probably come home every year. Well, not every year, but like every several years because the hospitals over there are so bad. So we come home for my wife to have a baby, whatever. And this would be a place I could stay. Not a place I could stay, but I could stay with her folks and, fix up their property in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. If it feels a little bit out of balance based on the financial picture you've given us to put that amount of money into real estate. Compared to your cash on hand, your 401k, and what you're going to be doing overseas, I feel like that's just stress and headache you don't want. I would let Rachel take over and tell you what she would do with the cash, but I think real estate would be a hold on for now. Yeah,
I mean, Leland, if I were your wife, even if we're going to be moving across the globe and knowing, things like healthcare aren't great. Like even the economic state of it, like you're saying, even that feels unstable. There's not a ton in a 401k, all of that. Having more cash on hand that you can get to, I think is going to give you guys a peace of mind that a rental property just won't. And again, we understand the math and how exciting it is to get in it and, get that rent every month. But like we were saying earlier, it's just a lot of work. And doing that as a long distance landlord, I probably would not in your situation. But you guys are incredible, you and your wife. So thanks for everything that you're doing and just absolutely giving your life up to service. It's absolutely incredible. So Winston, thanks for being a guest on this hour.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too. Love all the wisdom and appreciate that. And
bunch of mistakes.
Thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour of The Ramsey Show and taking your calls from anywhere in the country. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. And starting us off this hour is Jacob in Tacoma, Washington. Hey, Jacob, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. How's it going?
Doing well. How can I help?
My wife and I are both active duty in the military, and we're deciding whether we should buy land before we get out or after we get out.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for your service. When is your date to be out? What are you guys thinking?
My minimum year is 2027 before I can get out.
Okay. And how about your wife?
Hers is 2024.
2024. Okay. So she's before. And are you guys moving? Do you see yourself moving again in between now and 2027?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Do you guys know where you want to be planted long term? Do you know like where you would want to buy land, or is there a piece of specific land you're looking at?
Right now we're looking in the Casper, Wyoming area.
Okay. And is there a piece of land that you want, or you guys know you just want to settle there in 2027?
There's one piece of land that we found that we're interested in. It's about 40 acres.
Okay, but it's not like a sentimental piece of land that you've grown up with generationally. Like there's not like a specific one that you're like, oh gosh, we want to buy this for our family. It's more just the idea we want to buy before the market goes up, or what's the motivation around it?
Yeah, there's nothing sentimental or like a specific piece of land we absolutely have to have. We just know that when we get out, we definitely want to just have our own piece of land, and we just want to be able to stay there. So we're trying to just figure out when, in case the market goes up, or and whether I stay in for 20 years or not. Yeah,
and are you wanting a home on this land? Is that what you're looking for? So that you can move into it when you guys are done. Okay, that's great. Are you guys? Do you have any debt? What's your savings? Your savings like?
We have no debt. We have a full 3-month emergency fund, which I think is like at 18 right now.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And our savings is at like 11 right now, and then we have our investments and stuff, which I don't remember exactly what that sits at right now.
Okay. Do you guys have any kids?
Not yet. We are trying.
Okay, good. Well, if I were you, Jacob, I probably would just wait until you guys get out of the military and see where you're at, because just a lot can change in 4 years. And being locked into a piece of property that you're not even really going to use for 4 years, I don't think is a great investment of your money right now. I think I would rather have money just in the market or just cash on hand as you guys make all these transitions and these moves between now and 2027. So yeah, if I were to wake up in your shoes, Jacob, I would wait until after you guys are out and you know where you want to settle. Because the crazy thing is too, a lot changes in 4 years, whether that's kids and that's family, or even maybe you guys are stationed in another part of the country that you fall in love with. Then you're like, oh man, I wish, we didn't have this land locked in and we have to go and sell it. And it ends up, instead of it being a long-term play, it ends up being a short-term play. And I don't want you to make, a bad financial move on that end, considering where the market is. So if I were you guys, I would be renting. I would just save up a lot of cash. And then when you guys are out in 2027, look to buy something permanent with the cash that you have, hopefully is a good down payment. So thanks so much for the call, Jacob. And thank you and your wife both for your service. Military members are just, we really are appreciative. So thank you. Thank you for your service. All right, up next we have Brooke in Houston, Texas. Hey, Brooke, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for calling. How can we help?
So my husband and I are kind of planning on moving homes in the next 2 to 3 years, and we're currently in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. And we didn't know if we should continue baby step 6 of paying down our current mortgage, or should we kind of pause that and put any extra cash aside into a high-yield savings account. We might want to buy some land and build on, or we might want to just buy a house.
Okay. How much do you guys have left on the house?
We have $133,000.
And how much do you guys make a year?
About $105 take home.
Okay. That's great. Well, the way I kind of look at this, Brooke, always is when you are paying into the home and paying it down and you're having that equity, that's guaranteed cash for the most part, right? I mean, I don't think the market's going to go, I don't think it's going to tank. Like, there are some people that had a doomsday approach when it comes to real estate. I just don't think that's going to happen. Things are slowing down. They're softening. We're seeing that, but I don't think there's going to be a crash. So I do think what you will have in equity that you're putting in as you're paying off this home will continue to grow. And so what I kind of like still about the idea of just paying down the mortgage, even though you may move, is number one, you never know what life's going to happen, and you may not. Who knows, right? You could get 3 years down the road and something were to happen with your family, or circumstances change and you end up staying in that home, but you've been paying it down. And then the second thing is that cash is kind of locked into the house. So when you guys sell it and you get the equity out, that has been saved, versus putting money in a high yield savings account that can sometimes easily be spent on things like a summer vacation or something ends up happening. And you're like, oh my gosh, we had this money. So we do stress in 4, 5, and 6 to be intentional, not to be intense. So intensity is through that, 1 through 3 steps. And so what I would say is still enjoy your life. I would still, to the point that you guys are, that you're still enjoying your life, but putting some money away by paying off that house early, continuing down that path, I think is the best bet, because again, that money's locked into that home. And when you sell it, you'll have the equity, versus when it's in a high yield savings account. We can, your idea is, we can use that for a down payment later on, but sometimes life ends up happening and you end up spending it.
Yes, that's a good point. That's kind of what I was thinking. I'm very Ramsey-esque in the way I think. So
no, it's great. Yeah. And I think it's a great question, because a lot of people, have that. And then even some people have asked, do I take some of this cash and start redoing things in my home for resale value even? Do we change things and update our home to even get more when we sell in 2 to 3 years? And even those, I would be careful, because there's some stuff that, if you guys went down that road, and for some people, certain things are an upgrade, and then to majority of people, when they're going to buy a home, it's not an upgrade at all, and you lose your money in that. So I would just continue to pay down the mortgage. And then when you guys decide to move, you'll have all that equity that can be moved to another home. But it's a great question, Brooke. Thanks for calling. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz hosting this hour, and it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And we mentioned earlier, but our team is out in Anaheim, California, Southern California, for our Building Wealth events. And so I thought, since they're not in studio, it'd be fun for them to call in and say hi and talk for a little bit. So I have Jade Warshar, our other Ramsey personality, on the line. Hey, Jade.
What is up, Rachel Cruz? What's going on?
How are you? How's California?
Man, it's treating us good. It's a bright, sunny day, partly cloudy skies. Feeling good.
Just doing great. Well, I heard from Ken in an earlier segment that you guys are staying right by Disneyland.
Yeah, I think I see what is Disneyland across the street.
I mean,
some Ferris wheels and whatnot.
Yes, that's so fun. That's so fun. Well, I know for so many people travel and so many families that this is the thing that we're about to enter upon, right? With summer here, summer break, so many families travel, maybe coming to Disneyland where you guys are. And there's just a lot of expense when it comes to travel. I know you and I have talked about this, being moms and having little ones, and there's the price to pay for convenience sometimes when you travel, but also sometimes it just costs you so much and it's not worth it. So when you guys travel, what are the things that you're like, oh yeah, that's worth it, and that's probably not?
Oh man, traveling I'm definitely starting to notice things that might be worth spending a little bit extra for the convenience. Rachel, I think you know this. Before I came to Ramsey Solutions, I traveled primarily for my work because we worked on cruise lines. So we were traveling all around the world. And honestly, back then, I would just do bare minimum. We were trying to pay off debt. So it was more just about, let's just get there. And instead of spending a bunch of money on experiences and things like that, we just would walk around, we'd eat, and just try to do things on the cheap. But now I'm realizing, there's some things now that I have kids, it's worth paying for, like a good piece of luggage Can I just say,
yes,
like, I don't want to be carrying like duffel bags and backpacks and things that are breaking my back. I want just one like good piece of luggage that's got the 4 wheels on it. It swivels, you know what I'm saying? And you can just the airport.
I'm a suitcase pusher. I put all those up on 4 wheels and I push that thing next to me on this side instead of dragging it behind. That's the way I go about airports. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, the bag I have, I've literally had it for 10 years. It's a great bag. It wasn't super expensive, but it wasn't just, something that I picked up at Walmart. It was a decent bag that I bought at Macy's. And honestly, on this trip, I'll be 100% transparent. I valeted my car. Have you ever done that?
You know what, Jade? This is one of the luxuries in life that I will pay for. Some people make fun of me because I know it's kind of expensive. But to just be in and out of your car right there at the airport door, it's worth it versus doing long-term parking for me. So that is a baby step 7 thing that I am enjoying with the margin that we have. Are you, okay, how has it felt? Do you like it? Is it worth it?
I mean, I had never done it before, and I was like, a girl can get used to this. Now, but here's the thing, balanced with Southwest tickets. It's not like, you know what I'm saying? It's, You pick, it's like you pick the things that are important to you, whereas, flying Southwest, it's not as expensive as some of these other lines. I would definitely categorize it in more of a bargain airline with maybe not as far as Spirit, but, like Southwest, you can usually find a good deal.
Yes, for sure.
I feel like if you find a good deal on the tickets, then maybe you can find a way to splurge on things like, parking at the airport, or, once you get on the trip, here's another one. I bring snacks from home on the airplane. I do not buy snacks in the airport.
Oh, we do the same. I'll buy the Uncrustable sandwiches. I'm like, sorry guys, your lunch is right here in the backpack that we're going to take out and eat. I know we did a trip in March with the kids, and it was the first time we took them into the gift shop area. And I did let them buy one thing of candy because they were just so excited. But that's the first time we have ever done that. Because I'm like, and it is. You get up there and it's like $20-something bucks for 3 bags of candy. And I was like, this is silly.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. And then you find yourself like having to say no a lot, which is not fun. You know what I mean? On a trip, it's not fun to have to say no to yourself and to your kids. But if you have all that stuff in your bag, if you brought all the snacks that you like, your kids enjoy, then you can just open up your bag and say, what do you guys want? And the answer can be yes, which I personally love. On my trip here, I always bring like cheese puffs. I always bring like some kind of trail mix. And then I'm depending on the fact that they're going to at least give me a bottle of water. Now, if you're on Spirit, they may not give you a bottle of water.
That's right. They may charge you for that. They may charge you for that one. Yeah, I think that's great, Jade. And I love even just the picture of the budget, because when you have the amount of money you want to spend, within that, you're like, hey, here's where I'm going to cut, here's where I'm going to splurge, and it's all within this dollar amount. So that's so great. Jade, I hope you guys have a great event tonight. It's almost, over 2,000 people. We all be together in Anaheim tonight for the Building Wealth event. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. I was in here picking out my outfit, trying to get my wardrobe on lock. But the most important thing is tonight we're going to be in a room, like you said, 2,000 people, and it's going to be honest life change. I love getting to meet people, talk eye to eye with them, get to shake their hands, and really see the impact that this message is having on real people's lives.
Yeah, it's so great. Oh, well, Jade, thank you so much for calling in, and I love hearing from you guys on the road. You all are very missed here in Nashville, but I know that message is going to be so powerful there in Southern California tonight. All right, we're going to go to the phones, and we have Julie in Kansas City up next. Hey, Julie, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me and taking my information and taking on my problem today.
Absolutely. How can I help?
Well, I have 2 credit cards from 2 different accounts. They're not related. They're not related accounts. From a business I was running in 2018, I had 3 employees, and I was using these credit cards to buy supplies with. And then I moved out of that state, and the business was okay, but I thought I could do all that and then pay off the cards as the business was going on, and then COVID hit. And then all of the sales that I was having, which I was doing really well right up to COVID, because I did a lot of sales for the church. And so a lot of churches stopped, having services, all that. And so then And so then I moved to another state, and that didn't work out. So then I moved to a third state, and then I started having health problems. So that was 5 years ago. I think the last time the cards were active was 2018.
Okay.
I'd like to consolidate the cards, if possible, probably not. Anyway, to one account.
And how much do you owe on how much do you owe on each of the cards?
Well, I would say total, both of them, $7,000. It's not a lot, but it is a lot for me because I'm pretty limited in my income. I don't really have a lot of income. It's true.
How much are you making a year, would you say?
Well, I'm on disability. I'm legally blind and legally deaf.
Oh,
and
wow.
So, I'm really in a hard spot, and I've been just 3 weeks ago had my fourth cornea transplant, and I only have vision in one eye. So
I'm so sorry.
Right now I'm living on. It's really been a hard road, and I, like I said, I had my own business for 23 years, and I had designs in all these different nations. So I'm not like someone who sits around all day. But anyway,
have you been and you haven't been paying on these two accounts, these two cards?
I haven't. I just couldn't. I had so much, like I was trying to describe. My life as a whirlwind. There was so much going on, and then I started having eye problems. So,
So Julie, I want to. Have you had creditors call you? Have they tried to contact you?
No, because they don't know where I am.
Okay.
And they just don't know how to get in touch with me. Okay. But I know how to get in touch with them. Yep. I know where they are.
Okay. So it's great. Well, what I would say, Julie, is I would contact them. I would make a plan to say, okay, here's what I can do. And they may even settle with you since it's been 5 years. And if it's moved to a creditor, and it's in collections even, usually they will settle with you. So if they do, get that in writing and then have a plan to pay it off, because I want this off your report. I want this out of your life because it's still hanging out. And I don't like that for you. So I know that you're working hard in your own business, and you're incredible, absolutely incredible doing all of this, with you said being legally blind and deaf. So I would have a plan to negotiate that and pay it down. Well, it seems like there's an official day for everything now. There's Barefoot Day, Bad Poetry Day, Dance Like a Chicken Day. Seriously, can't make this stuff up. There is one day I can get on board with, though. National Life Insurance Day. Yep. So it's a reminder that if you have anyone in your life that depends on your income, like little kids running around, then getting life insurance needs to be your top priority. If you've been listening to our show for a decade or even a day, you know that we only recommend term life insurance. But we also teach that you need to be wise with your money. So how much can you expect a term policy to cost you every month? Well, we have a tool that actually does the work for crunching those numbers for you. You just enter in some basic info on our term life estimator to get an idea of how much it'll cost. And the cool thing is you don't have to enter any contact info. So all it takes is just a little time, a little bit of typing, and you'll get the results. So get your estimate today so you can know how much term life will cost you so you can put it into your budget and get covered today, like right now. Life insurance, you guys, is so important to have. If you have people dependent upon your income, even you stay-at-home moms and the value you bring to the home, you need to be covered with life insurance. So go to go to RamseySolutions.com/term estimate. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com/term estimate. All right, up next, we have Rachel in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Hey, Rachel, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel, how you doing?
Doing well. Love the name. Thanks for calling.
Obviously.
Obviously. How can I help?
Okay, so my husband and I have 3 loans right now. two of which are small, totaling $8,000 that don't have any interest whatsoever for the life of the loan. And then the third one is about $45,000 at 5% interest. And I know the baby steps say to go for the small one first, but if there is no interest whatsoever, would it be more beneficial in the long run to go for the $45,000 with the interest first so that we don't have as much interest in the long run?
Yeah, well, mathematically, you're correct, right? If we were just doing math, then yeah, it would obviously make sense to pay off the highest interest rate first. But what we have found, Rachel, with paying off debt, it is so much more than a math issue. There's so much around the person doing it, the motivation that is caused when you pay off that smallest debt, the wins that you get by paying off that smallest debt. So I would still tell you, even if those two smallest debts, how much are they, did you say? If each one, the two smallest?
One is $1,900, the other one's $6,300.
Okay. And how much do you guys make a year?
Probably about $160.
Okay. So here's what I love about this, Rachel, about the debt snowballs. I'm like, okay, yeah, you guys make a great income. Take your budget for next month and just cut everything out of it. I mean, honestly, pause subscriptions, don't go out to eat, don't go shopping, do nothing. And you guys are going to be able to knock out that $1,900 probably next month. You can be like, we're gonna just absolutely scorch earth our life, get that out of the way. And I'm telling you, there's something freeing about even having a small debt paid off where it's gone. It's over. And you're like, oh, okay, we only have 2 more left. And then you do the same thing, that $6,300, you guys take a few months, knock that out. And then you can focus all of your time, all of your energy on the $45,000 loan. Because even though they don't have interest, you guys are going to pay it off so much faster that you're going to get to the higher interest rate loan of the $45,000 soon, right? It's not like you're going to be having that around forever and never getting to it. So by paying off those smaller ones, you are going to get those wins, and you don't have to think about it. It's less brain calories, right? If things are paid off, those smaller little we call them ankle biting ones, right? They're just kind of swimming around there. Once they're done, it's like, oh, we're cleared and we are focused on one thing and one thing only.
Right.
So, yeah, that's really the mindset behind the debt snowball. But you're right. If we were doing math, that would be the debt avalanche where you pay off the highest interest rate first. But there is something to be said, again, where you take math out of the equation and you just say, let's start this habit of our life where we are going to take everything out of the budget that we can. We're going to take on extra jobs. We're going to squeeze as much money as we can month to month and pay off the smallest debt first. When you get those wins, it keeps you motivated. I'm telling you, there was a study done between people doing the debt avalanche and the debt snowball, and those doing the debt snowball paid it off faster than those doing the debt avalanche. And again, it's paying off debt. So we want you to be debt free. That's the end goal anyways. But it's still the most efficient way to do it because personal finance, it's 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. And so what does not come into play for people when they're looking at money is they look strictly at the numbers and the math. They don't take into account the person on the other side doing the work. So you, Rachel, and your husband, you guys are it. Like, y'all are the secret sauce in all of this. And when you guys are motivated and you're excited about this, you're going to pay off that $45,000 even faster. So that's what I would recommend. But it's a great question. All right, up next, we have Megan in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks for talking with me. How's it going?
Absolutely. Thanks for calling. How can I help?
So first of all, I'm answering your plea on Instagram to call in while you're hosting the show.
My plea, I know, I did. I put on stories. I was like, y'all, I'm going to be hosting this show for 3 hours. Call in and talk to me. And you did, Megan. You answered the call. I so appreciate it. I feel so loved.
Absolutely. I have 2 questions. My first question actually pertains to your book recommendations, which have been awesome. All the books you've recommended have been great. I just finished The Perfect Marriage.
Oh, yes.
My husband called the end of that book after I read the first chapter. He's like, I don't know what that means, but
I will say that one, yeah, it was a little bit of a predictor of maybe the end. Or your husband knows too much about murder mystery books, so that's
right. Exactly. So thank you for that. So my first question is, what's your next book recommendation? And then question number 2, how did you convince Winston to finally make his social media appearance and even be on the show with you, because my husband is the same way. He hates social media. So I'm wondering what tricks you use to get your husband on social media.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Okay, well, the book recommendations, we'll go there first. Okay, if you're wanting, I just wrote some down, another mystery type book, The Housemaid. It's great.
Yep.
Really good. It's a popular one right now. If you're a book lover, I feel like people see that. If you want to, I love World War II, that kind of genre of book. So The Nightingale is so great by Kristen Hanna. It's a great one.
Awesome.
If you want a little love in your life this summer, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover is a great one. They're actually doing a movie, and Blake Lively is going to be the main actress in it. She's going to play the main character. So,
okay. So I just read both of those books by your recommendation, and I was really hoping they were doing a movie about it because I was obsessed with both of them.
They're so good. Yep. So if all you ladies out there need a good summer read, It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. It's a great series, Colleen Hoover. And then one book I read, and I put it on Instagram because all the books I read I put out there, is The Comfort Crisis. So we read this book as a Ramsey family over Christmas. We were all on a trip and we got passed around. But it's a really great one. So it's a nonfiction. All the other ones we were talking about were fiction books. But it's just about why we don't, specifically in America, push ourselves physically, mentally, all of it to a point of pain to have sacrifice to get a result, right? We want everything comfort. Like even we have, it's 69 degrees everywhere you go. You get in the car, you can turn on the temperature you want. There's no, we are in a comfortable society physically, and then that plays into it mentally, and then you put technology on it, all of it. It's a great book. It's kind of more of a guy book because he talks about this big hunt that he does in Alaska and all of that. But his points in it they're so good because it pertains a lot to what we talk about here on the Ramsey Show with money. That in order to get out of debt, you have to sacrifice. You're going to be uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable usually gets you a great result. When you're just comfortable all the time, you're in the status quo. So there's that. And then Winston, I know, he had a slight career change recently, and he's just kind of embracing more of my social media in my life, which I'm so glad because he's so wise and he's so smart and I love him. So the fact that he's getting on a little bit more and then did the show today earlier is just, I can't believe it. But I love it because I love you guys getting to know him. Well, this is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Psalm 139:14. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. When you don't dress like everybody else, you don't have to think like everybody else. Iris is it Apfel, who's a fashion icon and interior designer. When you don't dress like everyone else, you don't have to think like everyone else. Hey, I believe it. That's great. That's great. All right. I am Rachel Cruz taking your calls this hour. And up next, we have Jason in Boise, Idaho. Hey, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel. How are you doing?
Doing well. How can I help?
Quick question. So my wife is getting ready to get a closing on one of her listings. And we're making good traction. We've been paying off debt like crazy, and we're super, super busy. I mean, last night I got paid with my job on the 1st and the 15th, and every 2 weeks, it's like I feel like we're at midnight paying bills, doing our budget faithfully. So her and I were talking last night. How would you, or what would you do if with one of the closings, if we took a small portion of that money and stuck it in an account So each month we're 1 month ahead. I mean, our emergency fund's still funded. We're not going to be taking that 1,000 or anything, but we're just going to put everything in an account. And I set everything up, all of our utilities and everything on auto pay through my debit card, not credit card.
Yeah.
Just so we're a month ahead.
Yeah. Why don't you just do that for your checking account?
Yeah, I just wanted your opinion. Instead of, because we'd be taking roughly about $3,800 out of this house closing, and instead of putting it towards debt this next month, we would be putting that in an account just so we're a month ahead. And we're not doing budget every single 2 weeks. We'd be doing budget once a month.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yes, yeah, I'm all for that. I think even getting to that point, because for a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck, they don't even have the margin. They have to take the paycheck from the first to use it. And then once they get the 15th, they have to use that, right? Versus if you have some buffer, exactly what you're talking about, in your checking account, then you're able to go ahead and just pay everything at the same time and stay kind of ahead of it versus waiting on the other paycheck. So no, I'm great with that. Yeah, I think that that's really smart. And if you can get to that point, it's a nice point to get to, again, because you're not literally waiting on the other paycheck. And so yeah, I think that'd be wise. And I don't even think you have to open up another, unless you guys want to, but you can even just do some of that auto drafting, auto pay out of your checking account, just knowing, that money's going to come out of that with that $3,800 in your checking account.
Perfect. You answered my question.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks for the call, Jason. Yeah, I think the only time we're cautious about auto anything is sometimes auto savings. If you just put it on auto savings, it's fine, but we want you to be very intentional when it comes to your money. And so even that with savings can kind of lose that point of, hey, I'm doing this really on purpose and I can change it month to month. I can add more if I need to. So sometimes the auto savings is one that we say, hey, just do it purposefully. But when there's bills like utilities, cable, electricity, like there's things that you're going to have to pay. If that's on auto draft and it's just taken out, it actually helps you not lose track. It helps you not be late, all of that. So making sure you have that buffer, though, so you don't overdraft on your account, that you have the money for it, is a great option. And we do that, too, where we can, just because it's convenient. It's nice to just have it paid when you know you have to pay it. So I'm all for that, Jason. That's a great question. All right, up next, we have Michelle in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hey, Michelle, welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Thanks so much for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can I help?
So I have a question about saving and paying for a wedding. My fiance and I are both in baby step 2. I'm wondering if we should pause baby step 2 and pile up some cash so we can pay for a wedding and or honeymoon, or if we should just kind of keep going and try and do it on the side, or what you'd recommend.
Yeah, it's a great question. How much do each of you have left in debt?
I have about $10,000. He has about $5,000.
Okay, so you guys are close to the end of that. How much do you make a year?
I'm $81,000 and he's $55,000.
Okay. And when's the wedding?
Well, we don't have a date set yet. We were kind of trying to figure out budget and how we were going to pay for it and let that, help guide us.
Okay. I hear you. How long have y'all been engaged?
Since July, so almost a year.
Oh, yeah. So you're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready to be married. Mm-hmm. I get that.
Yeah.
What I would do when it comes to this kind of thing, doing both at the same time, I think it is ideal, because you guys are going to want a wedding and a honeymoon. But I think you have to be realistic to say, okay, our budget for the wedding and honeymoon is not going to be astronomical. It's not going to be huge, because we have other things in our life financially we're taking care of. So having a realistic expectation of the wedding and the honeymoon is really important. But I wouldn't want to lose momentum when it comes to paying off debt. But you have $10,000 left. So I'm like, Michelle, you could still do this. If you guys do a couple of side hustles and bring in some extra cash, you could have this knocked out really quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And we're on track for that, but we're both kind of just feeling like, man, it'd be really nice to just, get married. We're anxious to get married. So part of me thought, well, maybe we could just pause and, and pile up some cash for the wedding. And we have a very small budget. We're probably going to only spend around $5,000. So I think we could get there quick.
Yeah. Well, then I would save that up on the side and kind of have a goal to say, okay, by fall or whatever the date is, right? Maybe it's July, whatever it is, to say, yeah, we want to be married by then. We're going to save up some money on the side to pay for it. And you may pay as you go, because vendors are going to want, maybe a deposit, things like that. So keeping track of it and I don't have to tell you because I know you said we have a small budget and all of that. And we're all for weddings and enjoying the celebration of marriage and life and all the things, but just being realistic. And you guys, I mean, because the reality is you could just go down to the courthouse and get a document and be married tomorrow, right? I mean, like you can go and get married if you wanted to. But I understand the celebration, but I just wouldn't put it off getting married to save up this crazy big budget for a wedding. And this is more for people listening, not necessarily you, Michelle, because I know you have a small budget and you guys can hit that pretty quickly. But I think we get caught up a lot when it comes to weddings and honeymoons and expecting very, big and extravagant things. And we put off putting a decision like marriage, a really important lifelong decision, off for an event, basically. So I want to make sure you guys, the priorities are kind of right in your mind.
Yeah, for sure. We both feel like we've been to many of the big, overdone, extravagant things, and we just want to keep it simple and, and just celebrate. But yeah, we don't want to wait too long. So
no, and I think that's great. And I think, the big, celebratory ones that people spend a lot of money, that's great. I mean, I had a big wedding and, we're not against that, but I think putting it in perspective and financially is really important. And then even for the honeymoon, Michelle, too, I would say maybe you just plan a 3 or 4 night getaway somewhere that's less expensive. And then at the 1 year mark of your anniversary that you guys are like, oh yeah, we're completely debt free. We have all this money saved because we're combining our incomes and we are living this debt free life. And you guys go and take a great honeymoon. That could be an option too.
Sure.
So
I guess I have one more layer to the question. Our parents have gifted us some cash and they said we can use it for whatever we'd like. We had kind of decided we were going to save it for a potential down payment on a house.
Okay.
Do you think it'd be better to $13,000 is the total?
Oh, nice. And they've given that to you guys with no strings attached?
Correct. They say it's up to you. You can do whatever you'd like. You can use it for a wedding.
Is this your parents?
Or you can use it for a house.
Your parents, his parents?
Yes, both of them.
Both of them together. Oh, that's great. Okay. Gosh, Michelle, if I were you, I would take 5,000 of that. And then I would take 5,000 of that and have that for a wedding fund over there. I would take the rest of that 8,000, put it at the 10,000 of yours. Or no, I'm sorry, I would knock out. Well, I want y'all married first before you combine accounts, right? I don't want you guys paying on each other's debt. So even if you split your parents' money, which sounds so tedious, but I would kind of still run in those lanes. But put some money towards your debt, his debts, depending on the amount of money each parent gave. And I would use that money now. All that to say, I would use it for the wedding and I would use it to pay off this debt because then you guys can use your income to save up for a down payment later down the road. But I would take care of the present problems, which is debt first, and saving up for the wedding and having that budget. So that's a gift for sure, Michelle. I would use that today for the things that you guys have. That's a great question. Well, thank you guys so much for calling in. Thank you for listening, America. Thank you to all the guys in the booth. Thank you, America, for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.